This is my first update in what I hope will be a series to keep you informed of what I'm seeing in your American Legion. I think I've been keeping up fairly well with the Twitter and Facebook recordings on what I've been doing, but I'd like to just say a few words to you on a regular basis. I hope these updates will serve you, and I hope you're able to visit the sites and keep abreast of what's happening with your American Legion. I'd first of all like to congratulate those 50 departments that made the 50% goal. As you know, membership is the lifeblood of any organization, and we obviously need to keep meeting those goals. The next goal is the 55% goal, and I certainly hope that we can say again that 50 departments made that goal also. I'd also like to say a few words about all the community covenant signings that I've heard has been happening since the convention, and congratulate you for getting out there and getting involved in your communities and making those things happen. The first big event that happened, of course, was the testimony on September 10th before a joint session of the House and Senate VA committees. We left them with 7 priorities that we'd like them to concentrate on for the VA this year. This entire testimony can be viewed at legion.org, so I'm not going to give you more information on those 7 priorities except for a few that I'll mention later. At the same time, for those 2 weeks, I met with 4 senators and 21 representatives, primarily to deal with 3 of those priorities that we left with them. As you know, the fiscal year is going to end on September 30th, and the next fiscal year will start on October the 1st. The VA doesn't have a budget at this point, so the VA budget was one of the first priorities that we stressed with those senators and representatives that we met with. Advanced funding is also critical, we believe, for the VA to be able to operate year after year and not be faced with this deadline at the end of the year for a fiscal year that ends and not having a budget. So this budget includes both the fiscal year 2010 full budget for the VA and the medical portion of the 2011 budget. And we also stress to them the importance of keeping the VA budget separate from any health care reform that may occur. September 15th was a banner day for your American Legion, as that's when they passed the final resolution to make September 16th the American Legion Day. There were a lot of you that were prepared for that to pass and got your states or your local communities to sign resolutions that also declared it the American Legion Day. And I congratulate you for your foresight and for making that happen, and I encourage you to visit legiontown.legion.org and submit those signing ceremonies that you may have had so that they're available to everyone to witness. So there are a couple of great membership tools that are out there that I'd like to encourage you to apply for. That's these 2 booklets, the Legion Town USA booklet and the 4 Pillars. These are free, just have to request the copies from your national organization. My visitations have started. First up was New Hampshire, and I can think of no better place than the live free or die state to be in for a 9/11 ceremony. And Commander Fratello and Post 35 did a super job with the 9/11 ceremony that they held in Hamilton, New Hampshire, that had the governor attending it. They annually update their monument for those who have given their lives in the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, and they added 8 names this year, and I was privileged that they asked me to be one of their keynote speakers and to share the podium with their governor. That was followed the next day by a 24-hour POW MIA vigil at their state veterans home. And I was there for the opening and stood the first 15-minute shift with the NEC and the alternate and the department adjutant and my aide. And then we got to be there for the closing and had about a dozen of the wheelchair-bound veterans come out and witness the closing of that ceremony. Next up was the Department Executive Committee meetings in Austin, Texas. And Texas put on a really good show for me, and I appreciate all that they have done for that. Next on the agenda this week will be the Americanism Conference that starts this Friday. And I look forward to opening that conference, and then I go on to the Department Executive Committee meetings for Indiana this weekend. Next week we'll be visiting Washington, D.C. once again to continue meetings with your senators and representatives in hopes of getting something to move on the VA budget. But I also get to spend about 3 hours at Walter Reed Hospital visiting with our wounded warriors and bringing the American Legion's message to them. Also, I'll be meeting with the VA Secretary Shinseki next week, where we'll be discussing all 7 of those priorities, and I'll have a meeting with the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mullen, and I'll be talking to him about the many things that the American Legion offers to our servicemen these days, and that's all because of what you all do. So other significant events in the next month, as you know, the ACLU has got their Supreme Court hearing date on October the 7th for the Mojave Memorial that they are trying to get removed. It's boarded up right now, waiting for the Supreme Court to make a decision. And then, of course, there's the fall commanders and adjutants meetings and the NEC meetings. Department activity is starting to increase, so there'll be more department visits. So I encourage you all to keep your eye on Congress, keep watching what they're doing, pay attention to the debates on the VA budget, on missile defense, and breaking issues that may be coming up, particularly that health care reform that's in the news. We need to be sure that the VA and TRICARE for our active duty forces are fenced off. So pay attention to national security issues and veterans benefits, and your American Legion will continue to keep you updated. So I'd like to once again thank you for all you do for our country, for our kids, and for our American Legion.